listening on podcast format. What you are looking at is a tweet, or as they call them now, a post from one Gavin Newsom. He has forgotten the C from his word name, but it's in there somewhere if you look closely enough. He writes, kids running from tear gas, crying on the phone because their mother was just taken from the fields. Trump calls me new scum, but he's the real scum. Oh, isn't that creative? I am rubber and you are glue. What sticks to me bounces off me and sticks to you. You know what it is. Listen to this. Do
not panic. Do not run. Do not run. Stay calm. They took your mom?
The caption says, children protesters running from tear gas during immigration raid. I'm just going to put the volume down and talk over this while we play it. It's astonishing when you get to the bottom of this story. Oh, now they're replaying the same video. What do you think they don't tell you during this video? Put it on pause. Go back to Gavin Newsom's tweet about it. Kids running from tear gas, crying on the phone because their mother was just taken from the fields. Dear Gavin, be a dear and tell us what kind of fields those were. Oh, cannabis fields? Oh, what's that? There were children that were there, apparently being either exploited for labor or trafficked in some other sense. What they tell you and what they don't tell you is revelatory. This was a raid of a cannabis production field in California, in Gavin Newsom's California. And don't take my word for it. Let's go to KTLA 5, reporting on all the news you need to know. Undocumented minors found during raid of Ventura County cannabis farm, DHS says. Federal immigration agents, assisted by members of the National Guard, carried out raids at 2 Southern California cannabis farms, arresting dozens, including undocumented minors. Undocumented minors. You know when the Trump administration says like 335,000 illegal alien children have gone missing over the course of Biden's facilitated invasion of the country? Whether the numbers are exact or the years are exact, hundreds of thousands of children have gone missing in the human trafficking that is the open border. We might have found a few. They might be illegally working, being exploited, human trafficked on a cannabis farm in Gavin Newsom's California, including undocumented minors in an operation that drew several hundred protesters and violent clashes with officers. We'll get to those violent clashes in a second. The immigration sweeps, one at the Glasshouse Farms. Oh, is that hilarious in a very ironic way. Glasshouse Farms, when Gavin calls Trump the real scum, and when Gavin accuses others of not caring about children, from his glass house doth he throw the stones. The Glasshouse Farms and another one 35 miles up the street, Glasshouse facility in Carpinteria, unfolded simultaneously around 8:30 in the morning. In Camilo, video from the Sky 5 showed a large federal law enforcement presence in the fields, with agents detaining workers as several hundred protesters began gathering. United States Attorney Bill Essayli confirmed the operation. Federal agents are executing a search warrant at this marijuana farm, he wrote. Agents have already arrested multiple individuals for impeding this operation and will continue to make arrests. Don't interfere. You'll be arrested with the other, yada, yada. The scene escalated around 12:35 p.m. when tear gas and less than lethal rounds were deployed into crowds of protesters who had blocked roadways on north and southbound Laguna Road. The FBI has issued a $50,000 award for information leading to the conviction of an unknown subject who appeared to fire a pistol at law enforcement near Camarillo, Essayli said in a post later on Twitter. The shooting occurred at 7:10:25, 2:26 p.m. Enough receipts have been shown for this story? You want to get back to that video where Gavin Newsom is talking about, complaining about, feigning faux outrage that children are being separated from their mothers while illegal aliens are being exploited for indentured servitude, aka modern day Democrat slave labor, and children are being illegally trafficked, ostensibly also for slave labor. And there happens to be the occasional dude firing a gun, apparently, at the police. Check this out. Libs of TikTok said breaking Anti-ICE protester just pulled a gun on ICE agents in California. Will Gavin Newsom condemn this? ICE agents are facing a 700% increase in assaults. This is insane. More people need to start getting arrested for impeding ICE. Well, this guy deserves to... It may or may not be a live round gun. Maybe it's a Burna launcher. The dude's launching pepper pellets at the cops. It looks like what it looks like, and this is what it looks like.
That report, and take a look at this video right here. It appears a protester fired some kind of gun at
some kind of gun. By the way, just pay attention. Look at the people in front of him as he's shooting. I'm going to play this again and shut my big mouth for 22 seconds. Okay, the guy's wearing a face mask, not because of COVID, but because of tear gas. Okay.
That report, and take a look at this video right here. It appears a protester fired some kind of gun at federal agents. This happened this afternoon. It was a really chaotic scene at the time. A lot of smoke was being launched at the protesters. And again, it appears a protester fired back with that weapon. It looks like he fired at least a couple of times. We have not heard about any agents being hurt.
How about the dude right in front of him, right there? One, two people right. This guy right here is lucky he didn't get shot. If that's a real gun. That's libs of TikTok saying that to Gavin Newsom. What does Gavin Newsom have to say to libs of TikTok? I am rubber and you are glue. Now I'm bouncing off and sticking to you. Of course I condemn any insult on law enforcement. You shit poster. Now do January 6th. Well, since we're swearing, you dipshit asshole Gavin Newsom, did anyone fire a gun at police officers on January 6th? Let me tell you, dipshit Newsom, no, not one Jan 6 protester, however you viewed them, even brought a gun to the most violent insurrection in the history of these United States of America. So they didn't bring a gun to shoot. And like a true terrorist, and I say terrorist in the actual definitional sense, every time there's a terrorist attack somewhere in the world, you know, the leaders come out and say, we strongly condemn acts of terror on both sides. Gavin Newsom, in response to what was hitherto depicted as children being separated from their mothers working in the fields. Oh, yeah, it was an illegal alien with underage illegal aliens apparently being exploited for slave labor on a cannabis marijuana farm. Leave those details out, Gavin Newsom. When libs of TikTok says, did you condemn this? There's an anti-ICE protester ostensibly apparently firing a live gun at ICE agents. He says, like a true terrorist that he is, of course I condemn any assault on law enforcement, you shit poster. Now do Jan 6. You know what's remarkably absent from this tweet? The condemnation of this alleged assault on a police officer. You shit poster, Gavin Newsom. I mean, it's like it's the MO of terrorists. We strongly condemn all acts of... Can you condemn that one right there, perpetrated by anti-ICE protesters seemingly motivated by your insane rhetoric to fight, oppose Trump's administration? I tell you, I've never ratioed anybody quite as much as I've ratioed Gavin Newsom in the last 24 hours. Of course I condemn any assault on law enforcement, does not condemn this assault. Proceeds to pivot to lies. Who again is the shit poster? Shit poster. And what is it? What is it about these politicians who think it's all of a sudden cool to swear? At least that wasn't from his official government account. I'm not a politician. And whether or not my father tells me, Viva, stop swearing on Twitter, I get to swear. I don't have an employer that I have to worry about disapproving of my tweets, at least for now. Whether or not I should fear some higher power for my obscenities, I don't use the Lord's name in vain, so I think there's quite a bit of leeway for calling a shit poster a shit poster. But when did Gavin Newsom start thinking it's cool to start swearing as a governor of a state? Tim Walz, they got a memo. Chuck Schumer, who was the other one there? Pocahontas. They all think it's cool now. This is how we're really going to appeal to the working class. We're going to start swearing on Twitter because that's what the cool kids are doing these days. Absolute fake news. And Gavin Newsom is the worst of it. So what starts off being depicted as, they're tearing families apart in the fields while we are exploiting illegal aliens and illegal alien miners for labor, turns out to be marijuana farm. I suspect it's legally operating in California, but one of the reasons why people were particularly offended by Trump's proposal to vouch for illegal aliens is specifically because of this type of scenario. Everybody knows certain industries are going to exploit illegal aliens, doing the alleged hard work that Americans allegedly don't want to do. Horse crap. Pay someone enough money, they'll do anything. And if you're not paying them enough money, the excuse is not therefore then that we get to import illegals who are exploitable, don't speak the language, can be basically rendered indentured servants forever, and children. And Gavin Newsom, in his deluded, insane propagandist Democrat, democrat mind, thinks he's the hero in all of this. And there was a funny article that came out in the Babylon Bee, which said, Gavin Newsom declares California a sanctuary state for child slavery. Look at his face. That's a real face. And there's a real human behind there. And every now and again, I say, my goodness, Viva, you're being a little bit too hard on Gavin Newsom. And then, Viva, I tell myself, no, you're not. This man is living waste, who actually goes out there and demonizes the people who are trying to do good while exploiting the very people he purports to protect with pathological lies that they never retract, correct, or apologize for. So, Gavin Newsom, you are scum. Yes, your name is wonderfully appropriate. From the Babylon Bee article. They're still funny. In the latest front of his war against the Trump administration's immigration policies, Governor Gavin Newsom officially declared California a sanctuary state for child slavery. The announcement followed on the heels of Newsom expressing outrage over ICE launching operations to rescue unaccompanied minor immigrants from working in California's marijuana fields, with the governor seeking to provide child slaves with a safe place to do their business. And it's parody until next year, when I guarantee you someone's going to do this. Babylon Bee's been ahead of the curve on all of this. Their parody from 5 years ago became reality later on. The Onion used to be good before it got all high and mighty and haughty and holier than thou, which is typically what happens the more someone becomes Democrat, liberal, progressive, whatever. Let's read the whole article. It's our duty to provide a place for child slaves to work without fear, Newsom told reporters. Here in California, we still look to a bright future where child slavery can flourish without the dark cloud of interference from the federal government. It's undocumented, consensual underage labor. Come on. Undocumented, consensual, underage, UCUL. I will continue to stand boldly on behalf of child traffickers everywhere. As long as I'm the governor, California is the place for child slavery. One child trafficker who spoke under the condition of remaining anonymous was relieved. It's great to hear, he said. It's getting more and more difficult to find places where we could set up shop and really traffic some kidnapped children. Thanks to Gavin, we can keep fighting to sell these kids for good prices to get rich off doing horrible things. Thank you, Governor Newsom. The Association of Child Slave Traffickers also gave Newsom declaration its enthusiastic approval. At the time of publishing, Newsom announced that any ICE agents who agreed to stop their immigration enforcement operations would receive a free child slave. That's funny, in the ironic sense.